Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad to hear on this Monday morning, starting August of 2020. This year is flying by, and a lot of us be glad when it flies on by. It's the kind of year we've all had, but we're going to keep plugging away and doing the best we can and keep a positive attitude about it all. High today is going to be 88 and low 75, and water temperatures are hanging in there around 83 degrees. Pretty steady this time of year. It's going to go up a little bit more, probably another week or two. Our moon phase brought to us by Mountain Dew. Get out and do. We'll call this our Monday moon phase, and guess when the full moon is? You got it, tonight. The full moon will be tonight. It'll be the August full moon. We'll have another one in August too. So, it's, in fact, that was a fishing boat called the August Moon. If y'all, some of y'all probably fished off of it. I didn't get a picture of that for the book, but it has some neat history behind it. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. We're looking at today's August the 3rd. Great tide today. It's going to be high. Remember last week it was low in the morning. Now it's going to be high in the morning at 9:34, and it's coming in right now. It's going to be a good morning to fish. Last week was good afternoons to fish. The low is going to be at 8:27 tonight. Then it's going to start coming back in. Our marine forecast to be north-northwest at about 13. We've got a little bit of cooler and drier wind than we had last week. With all that rain we had last week, hopefully a lot of y'all are drying out because our soil has been saturated toward the end of the week last week. But we got, in our area up here, in those 2 days, we got between 4 to 6 inches at various places in this section up in where I live here north of Lynn Haven and Southport and all. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I want to give two reports to start off with. First report, well, one is going to be a good report with a smiley face, and one is a bad report with a frowny face. I'll put the faces on here. Let's do the good report first. The good report is no red tide anywhere, which I was really worried about it this year because we were so vulnerable in our base systems in the situation we're in. So no red tide. Now the bad report. Now let's go back. That report on red tide is official from the scientists over here at marine labs throughout the state. So that's official. Now this next report is unofficial. It's sort of word of mouth, but you know how we outdoorsmen are. A lot of times that word of mouth is right on. And it's a scallop report, and this is the first scallop report that I've gotten from anyone. I've been waiting to get some reports because people are always calling and talking to me, which I'm very thankful of. And this comes from second hand. I did not talk to the person in the water. This came from a lady, a friend of mine who knew a lady who actually went into the water in St. Joe Bay, actually had a diving suit on, and she scouted around, and she did not find a lot of scallops. And this lady, obviously, I don't know the lady personally, but it was a friend of mine that I trust very, very much. So this is an unofficial scallop report. The very first scouting report I heard from was not a lot of scallops. So be prepared for that. Last year, it can't be as good as last year. Last year was phenomenal. And the problem with last year being so phenomenal, some folks just got greedy again. And in early days, we had that trouble with greed, then we sort of leveled off. And now they came out so many last year, and people just go back day after day. Some people going in the morning getting a limit, going back in the afternoon getting a limit. They were camping out down there and staying days. They were staying in those houses down there and just hitting them twice a day. And they would get, and there's some folks out there that would get the very last one and say, this is the last one. So that's going to hurt. So it's not going to be as good as last year for sure. I can go ahead and put my word out. It won't be like that. But anyway, just be aware. Now I'm going to hear some more reports before it opens in a couple of weeks. And if some of y'all are going out there scouting, I had planned on doing it. The day I went down there, the tide had gotten so low, I had to walk half a mile to get to where I wanted to look. So I decided not to go look. So I went back to the house, had a glass of tea. So if you get in scouting reports, let me know. And if you think they're pretty legitimate, like this was, I want to let's go from the bad news and good news to let's talk about bass. We don't. I feel like we don't talk about bass enough, and this is really this information I got. I was looking at it last night. I was just really fascinated with it. It comes from the American Sport Fish Hatchery. That's up there off Pike Road, Alabama, up there around the Montgomery area. I know y'all been there and seen it all. It is a big business, and they'll stock the ponds. And these two guys here that started it in the 1970s, they were way ahead of their time. And this interview with one of them, it was Don Keller and Barry Smith. They started American Sport Fish Hatchery, and they were considered to be some of the most premier fish scientists around. And this interview with one of them, and it was really some interesting questions. So it was like 10 or 15 questions. I don't know how many I'm going to get through, but if I don't, I'll finish the ones. But these guys, they're living, and they just had a passion for bass. And I'm going to go ahead and number one question they interviewed them on: how big does a bass have to be to spawn? And their answers: I've seen bass 7 inches in fat spawn. Usually it takes about 1 year old and about 1 pound in size. So that they start at a young age spawning. Number two, how many eggs does a female have? And they went on to say anywhere from 3,000 to 30,000. It could according to the size of the female. One was fascinating though. They don't release them all at one time. They've had a female releasing some eggs and then moved her to another location, another pond, and she released some more. So so they don't all get them at one bed right there. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. How long will a bass live? We always ask about the box turtle lives how long? Average of 5 years. Bass in the cooler areas tend to live longer, maximum 16 to 20 years, but the average is 5 to 10 years. Okay, 5 to 10 years. How fast can they grow? How fast can they bass grow? Now they're going to go fast down in this south warm water. They came to they had talked about 2-inch tiger bass. It was actually gains 2 to 3 pounds a year. Now that's fast growth right there. And they've given them at age 2. They've seen 2 to 3 year old bass at 13 pounds. Isn't that amazing? 3 to 4 pounds a year. How can I tell a Florida bass from a northern bass? They said you can't. They're the difference. Another question too, I thought this interesting. Why do they appear pale in the winter? And to stop and think about it, a good common sense answer: the sunlight. In the winter you have more rain and they're down a little bit deeper and they don't get as much sunlight. And in the summer they're getting out there and that sunlight comes to them and brings out the colors. It actually says it hits their pituitary gland and it sort of brings out the colors in the summertime. That's why they're so pretty and all in the summer as compared to the wintertime, because of the actual amount of sunlight. Isn't that amazing? I was just really fascinated with these. Look, let me go and take a break, and we'll come back and we'll try to finish up on these. So we'll take a break and be right back. Okay, welcome back. I want to introduce this video coming up, about 6 or 7 minute video, real plain and simple, fishing West Bay with Mark and Bill. And West Bay has just been one of our go-to places. I talk a lot about East Bay the last couple of years, but still, the West Bay has just sort of been a home territory for us. I love going to West Bay. Good fishing out there. We release a lot of the big ones and all, but we had a good time. And so let's go. We're going from bass now to go trout and red fishing. So Jeff, let's roll this one. Got a little bit of rain west of us. It's amazing how fast these thunderstorms can build up. Here's the ride, got a clear blue sky. It's a summertime pattern. There on West Bay. Mark and Bill. A little bit of a sprinkle right now. I'm going to ease on up here.
I'm going to get it then.
All right, now we got an expert here. Now I threw my lure off, and Mark's been nice enough to come over here and try to retrieve it for me.
Well, we did. I can do everything but grab it.
This is a lot harder than it looks. Are you getting close?
There's some oyster shells there. I'm trying not to get up on them.
Oh, yeah.
Last year,
You hit it.
How could that not grab that? I got it right now if I can get over that one branch.
I'll see what we're fishing with. It just came off. I bet.
Look for it, see if you can find it. Look for it.
You hit it.
Winston, ain't no way that's coming off.
They don't forget. Hey,
I told Mark I needed some footage Oh, you had it, buddy.
I got your line.
That line just broke, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it sure did. Broke the leader, broke Winston.
How'd that leader break?
I don't know, but it did. Yeah. I can get it now.
We got it. Yeah, I can get
That
it
thing
now.
don't want to get caught. You couldn't have caught a fish on it if you wanted
That's
to.
what's happened. Thank you, Mark.
Oh, well, you gotta get off on the trout. Man, I saw him rise up to it.
Yeah, he's up. There you go. Good, Mark. We got to start on it. Got a monster here, Bill?
I got another big trout. Mark, where's the gap? Man, that's right.
Man, we got to see how this is.
Ah!
That was about a 4-pounder got off.
Yeah, he had his lips sore right now. No!
Winston,
A 32-inch
that we had you
redfish.
with an
He was
overslot
that
red
big.
and you let him go.
That fish was 32 inches if he was an inch.
All that fish was that big.
That may
No,
be
his
the
mouth was
biggest
the,
red
that mouth
fish.
was that.
Ah. Before sundown, Mark is hooked up. Nice. Oh yeah.
That's a trap.
Oh,
Is that a trout? Shoot him out through like that.
Holy cow, look at the size of this trout.
Nice.
My goodness.
Ray, don't miss a Bill.
I can't.
Oh man, what a trout.
I told you I was trout fishing. Don't step on your toe.
Good job there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got it. God, I thought it was a redfish, Bill.
I did too.
Here, let me help out. Just pop it out. Pop it out.
All
Here you go,
right,
Winston.
Mark. That is nice, my man.
He's a beauty.
Good
Hang on.
job.
Don't throw that back in.
You gonna measure him? Or you got a picture?
Gotta get a still shot.
All right, good.
If I need to code to my own phone, I can.
Get where I got a little sunshine on it.
That's a stud.
Nice trout.
All right, Winston, I've done my job
Okay.
here.
All right, buddy.
I saw that thing make that last move, and I said, "Good Lord, that's a trout."
There he goes.
He didn't need us, did he?
He's got a lot of energy left. Good job there.
Woo. Well, I've done my part.
All right. They're not quite as big as the other one.
The one I just caught would have eaten this one.
That's right.
Come on, little fella, they're all getting released. Got a fish, got a fish, got a fish, got a fish.
Can you believe that?
Now, Winston, what
Wait, I'm filming. Folks, and my rod takes off. I got it all on film. You
I
got-
hope so. I
you got
wouldn't do that to too many people. You taking this one?
Oh, hold on. A ladyfish?
No, it's a catfish.
Oh no.
I catch enough grief.
Yep.
I'm
Where is-
kidding. Get him up here.
No, I'll get him. I really want to get a picture of him.
Oh, you gonna take a picture?
Yes, sir. There's a nice mullet jumping out there, too.
He's charging the boat.
All right, where is he?
He's charging the boat.
I guess we're going to stay just about the dark, folks, and here we go. It just started biting right before the...
I'm coming.
Oh, he's running good.
I gotta be.
Boom!
Oh, watch out.
Boom,
He
he's-
almost got killed. Ladyfish that never jump.
You know, that's unusual.
Yeah, that's why I thought at first it was a redfish because
Yeah.
he was charging the boat. They've got this new tactic of attacking the boat.
Yeah. All right, fellas, we didn't tear it up, but I think we still agree it was a good day on the water.
It was a good day, you know, and it was tough conditions. We did catch them late, but we didn't get the redfish, but we did get some nice trout.
And that trout you caught was a hoss.
Yeah, how long was that trout, Bill?
That trout's 23, 24 inches each.
Yeah, about 5.5 pounds, so that was worth the trip.
Yes, sir.
We got him back in. We got her back in quickly and
Yeah.
plenty of energy. So
Fellas, thank y'all so much for the invitation. I have enjoyed it.
Well, thank you, Winston. Thanks for coming.
All right, buddy. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that. It's just fun fishing with those guys. They love fishing, have that passion for it, and I just like to be around people like that. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, being outdoors with people that love the outdoors. Okay, fishing game times they brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers, 12:32 a.m. to 2:32 a.m. All right, we just passed that, but midnight tonight, well, 12:58, no, right in the middle of the day, 12:58 to 2:58, right in the middle of the day. Okay, let's get back. Let's go back from speckled trout, redfish, back to bass fishing. I want to talk about. I've said it over and over again how the redfish and bass are a lot alike. You can catch them on the same plugs, and they just have a lot of similarities between those two. The trout's a little bit different. But anyway, let's finish up on this information coming from American Sports Hatchery. They're in Pike Road, Alabama, around Camden, Alabama. And they got ponds, and I've always, every time I ride by there going toward Tennessee, we always go through the south end of Montgomery, and I tell Gil every time, I got to stop and talk to these people, interview them. So I want to go out there and just be on site, and I'm going to do that one day, I promise you. Okay, now next question, and this is the interview with those guys, and these are the experts. If I catch a bass on a large lake and release it, will it stay close to where I released it? Out of all the questions, I thought this was the most interesting answer. Here's their answer: yes and no. Maybe. And because I said, well, that sounds like a politician there. But here's what has happened. They themselves have done the study and said some bass are homers. Okay, they just stay around that area. And it went on to say one study found that 90% of the bass caught, tagged, released, and recaptured within 100 yards. That's one study. 90% tagged, and they caught them within 100 yards of the release point. Then another study found that 90% of bass tagged and released moved a great distance. Many traveled up to 16 miles away. That's a long way for a bass. And then this guy, he did a study. He said, in my study at Lake Eufaula, he says some bass would be caught by anglers right there where we released them, and some showed up on the other side of the lake. So the answer to that question, yes or no, is the right answer, because some of them move away, some don't. I got to thinking about it, and I think you understand what I'm talking about. It's sort of like these big bucks. Some are still stay in that home area, always around that home area. Then when they're in rut season, some of them will take off miles and miles away from. So I guess that's just in nature, that's just where things are. But I thought that was interesting to me. All right, next question. They said, will a largemouth bass cross with a smallmouth bass? It's very, very rare. Number 9, the question was, does it hurt the population to catch bass off of the spawning bed? This answer surprised me. This one really surprised me. What difference does it make? That was his quote. If you remove a female in February prior to spawning, or remove him in April as she is spawning. He said, actually, spawning bass are not that easy to catch. Okay, most private lakes are under-harvested. This is so true. Most private ponds and lakes are under-harvested, and they recommend the bass need to be removed so more food will be available for all of the fish. And they also work with big brim and big crappie. They also have ponds for some really big panfish, but we'll talk about that later. Or bass strictly sight feeders. Listen to this, bass have senses of sight, smell, hearing, and touch. And I didn't realize the one about touch. So they've got all 4 of those. So they can pick up vibrations in the water, and that's why those little spinner blades and all work. And of course the colors and all, that's why you have all kind of colors that change from pale to bright according to the sun. So that was a good question right there. Where do they spawn? And basically shallow water, we know that. And they've seen them anywhere from foot deep to 3 foot deep. Okay, same as the bluegill, they said. How many times a year do they spawn? The female will leave the bed, and the male basically guards it. The male will spawn again. The female doesn't drop all her eggs at one time. So we talked about that. When basically the main thing, what triggers spawn is the water temperature. We know the water temperature does that with all the fish. That's what triggers it. And so the period is important during that period of time of sunlight right there. Okay, March, April, and May would be their general answer. March, April, and May. But you know, sometimes in late February we get some really big bass that are being caught. Okay, and then one of the last questions: how old does a bass have to be to spawn? They actually did it 1 or 2 years old they can spawn. So these are just some of the questions. I just thought they were very interesting. That comes from the sports hatchery up there outside of Montgomery. And you know, to me, learning is a lifelong thing. And you think you know everything about deer or bass or turkey and all, and then you come up and talk to these experts, and they've done such a great job. And these guys, that's their life and livelihood. So I enjoyed that. And that was I don't know if I think some of y'all have gone up there. I know some of y'all have gone up there and got, you know, they sell fish. And they sell all kind of fingerlings and all. I know some of y'all have gone up there and done that and stocked your ponds with them. But that's a healthy breed. Like I said, wrap it up. Got a big show lineup. I enjoyed doing it today. Got a big show tomorrow. And it's going to be good weather this week. So do something good today for your fellow man. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.